Welcome to episode 40 of the Collector's Quest podcast. On this episode, Kat and I talk to the lovely Heidi from Sweden, and she tells us all about her massive video game collection that's nearly about 6,000 games. You might know her as StopXWhispering on Twitter, or maybe as retro_gaming on Instagram, or maybe you know her from her blog, which is retro-video-gaming.com. And you might even know her from Geeky Gals. She's all over the place, and deservedly so. You should definitely check her out. We got a nice long interview, so sit back and relax. But before we get there, just like every week, if you like what we're doing, spread the word about us, tell some friends. If you can give us a rating on iTunes, great. We would really appreciate it. That's the best thing you can do for us right now. Also, remember to use the hashtag CQPics so we can call out Picks of the Week. Anyways, here it is. Nice long interview. Stay tuned. And I apologize to Heidi in advance for this song.
Another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Kat here with Johnny.
Hey Kat, how's it going?
It's good, but it's not just you and I. Today we have a guest.
Yes, I love when we have guests, and this one I'm pretty excited about, and somehow I didn't know about her until I did an internet search for Castlevania, of all things, and I found her blog, and we have with us Heidi, who is Stop Whispering, if you follow her on Twitter, and Retro Gaming on Instagram. Hey, how's it going, Heidi?
Hi. It's fun to be here. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's nice.
We're excited to hear about your amazing collection.
Well, awesome. I'll try to tell you everything I know about it.
Well, you are the expert there. Yeah, no, it was a weird thing. I just finished up my Super Nintendo collection, and now I was looking for some pieces to fill out collection, and I was like, oh, I need more Castlevania stuff. So I was searching for Castlevania, and I found your blog, and I was like, who is this? I'm like, oh, they're on Twitter. Okay, let me see if they're on Instagram. I'm like, you're on Instagram? I've never seen, had not seen pictures of your collection reposted. You have a lot of followers, and then I found out, you were on Kat's husband's podcast, and I was like, I don't know how I missed you. I must have been willful ignorance on my part.
Well, that's okay. I'm not very good at promoting myself. I'm just kind of there, and some people find me, some people don't. I have so many projects and stuff going on that I have little time to just sit around and chat with people and respond and everything. I try to respond as much as I can, but it's getting a little bit out of hand.
Well, you do have, like you said, a lot of projects and a lot of followers, so that can be tough. I know Kat gets bombarded sometimes, and she can't respond to everybody either. And I get it a little bit, but not nearly as much as you guys.
Yeah, it's hard. You try and respond to everybody and talk to everybody, but sometimes things get missed, or I find Instagram notifications, sometimes I miss things, or I'm doing something else on my phone, but I try and keep up with it.
Yeah, it's like if I don't check my phone every 1 or 2 hours, it's going to be more than 100 notifications, and then you just miss everything that was above that.
Oh yeah, on Instagram for sure. You're just like,
on Instagram, yeah.
Oh, bye. Those were all missed.
It's really annoying because I usually go in and check every single person that followed me, and I follow them back if they post anything just retro gaming related, just out of courtesy and out of interest, because that's what I want my feed to be. I want it to be just pure retro games. If some person has 50% retro games and the rest 50% is their food or their babies, then I don't follow back because I don't want my feed to be spammed with other people's kids that I don't know.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I can relate.
Yeah.
But I am really annoyed when it gets over 100 and I don't know who followed me that I might have missed. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I don't know why that's in the Instagram. Of all the things they've air quotes fixed, that should have been one of them. So I'm curious how you started collecting, because obviously you've been at it for a while, because your collection is awesome and well organized and huge. So,
It's massive.
how did you get there?
I've always loved video games since I was a little kid. The first time I came in contact with it was with an old Game & Watch, the Donkey Kong, the orange dual screen one. And I played that thing until my mom accidentally made me lose it. I think she just hid it from me or something. It was my brother's. He's 13 years older than me. And after that, I never got any games. Like, my parents never actually bought me any games, even though I asked for it. I played Nintendo with my friends at my friend's place. I played Sega Mega Drive and all these other consoles. And every time I came home, I was like, Mom, I want a Sega. Dad, I want a Game Boy. Mom, I want a Nintendo. And I never got any games because they were like, you should be outside and play. Go play in the woods with some pine cones or whatever, sticks and stuff. And I'm like, no, but I like sitting down in front of a TV and like controlling characters because I was good at it. I was really good at platforming games and puzzle games. And my friends even used to, like, I had this one cousin, she used to call me over when she was stuck in bosses on Super Mario Bros. 2, and I had to help her out, figure out the patterns and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I was like 18 or something, 18 or 19, when I fooled my dad into buying me a PS2.
You fooled him? How did you fool him?
He was always okay with buying VHS players or, any kind of technology thing that I could be of use to me when it came like Christmas and birthdays. So this one Christmas I told him, I want a DVD player. I want a very particular DVD player. It's called a PS2. And I need that one to play my DVDs. And he bought it. He didn't know that it was a game station.
Nice.
I think he regretted that ever since then, because after that I just started spending every single penny I had on games for my PlayStation 2. And then I traded myself an Xbox and I started buying games for that one. And then I found online auction sites where you could actually get like NES and Sega and everything. And it was dirt cheap back then. That was like, well, I'm 32 now. That was 12 years ago, probably.
Okay, so like 2005 or so, 2004.
Yeah. So everything was really cheap around here. Then people were just giving it away, basically. You could buy NES cartridges for less than $1, basically. And then I just started hoarding. I started working. I lived at home, and I spent every single penny I had on games. My parents thought I was crazy. I tried to hide it, kind of. When I collected a big box, I just kind of snuck in the back door and just started spreading it out over my room so it wouldn't look as much. But then, I've just really never stopped. I've just kept buying games. And for me, it's like reliving those games that I never got as a kid. I just want to try everything. I want to be able to play everything. So it's just curiosity, I think, that just keeps me buying games. I don't really care for mint condition and keeping it in a plastic box, and I want to play my games, So I've just expanded.
Nice.
Especially the last 5 years, it's been I've been buying a lot of games. I think last time I was on a podcast with the NARC podcast, I had like 4,600 or 800 games. I'm up to 5,600 right now.
Oh, nice.
So it's escalating quite fast.
So do you don't just collect in box, you'll collect card only then, or whatever,
No, it depends on what system. I'm very OCD. I need stuff to be tidy and effective and clever so that I can find things. I never buy SNES cards loose because they don't have end labels. I always want my Super Famicom and my Super Nintendo games to be boxed. It doesn't have to be like a super mint in box, but it has to be boxed so that the box sticks together and can sit in a shelf, basically. When it comes to NES cartridges, though, I buy them loose. I have a few boxed ones, and that actually kind of bugs me because they don't really fit with the other ones in the shelf.
Right, those stick out, right?
Yeah, I kind of forget that I have those because when I'm looking through like alphabetical order, and I'm like, I'm looking for this game, and I can look for like 15 minutes until I realize, oh wait, that was a boxed one. So It's placed somewhere else in my room for aesthetics, basically.
So do you have a favorite to collect for?
Oh, that kind of varies from time to time. It began with the PlayStation, Xbox, and then it started with the NES. And then I moved on to Sega Mega Drive, because those are the two that I played the most as a kid, with my friends. But then I moved on to Sega Master System and Super Nintendo. And then a couple of years back, I found Famicom, the Japanese one. And I got obsessed with that one. I have over 950 unique cartridges for it. There was only 1,054 released for it.
Wow.
So that one I kept buying like for months and months. I just bought Famicom games. And then I moved on to PC Engine because I found that one. And then that was my big project for a while. And then I found Super Famicom and I just started buying that one for like half a year. And, then I found the Neo Geo and then I just started buying Neo Geo games. And then I kind of went back to Super Famicom, I think. I don't know really where I'm at right now. I had a period with the ZX Spectrum as well and the Commodore 64. I've been buying a lot of old computer stuff. Recently, I've just been buying Tetris games, though.
Yeah, any particular reason? Do you just love Tetris, or?
I've always loved Tetris, but I had an epiphany, or what you call it, in May, beginning of May. I was in Italy for a holiday, and I brought my Game Boy Advance SP, and I just realized when I was playing some games on it that I wish I had Tetris on this one. I only have one Tetris game for Nintendo Portables, which was the first one on the Game Boy. And I thought to myself, there must have been more Tetris games that were released for the Nintendo handhelds. Because the thing with me is I never check lists and stuff or follow lists to have like a complete collection of anything. I just buy whatever I bump into. I think it's more fun that way. So basically what I did when I got this idea, I just eBayed a Game Boy and Tetris. And what I found was there's shitloads
of
Tetris games on the portables. So I just started buying all of them. And then I started realizing maybe there's other systems I'm missing Tetris games on. So I just started looking up Tetris for every system that I have. And now I'm up to over like 70, almost 80 unique Tetris games for various systems. And it's a blast. I had a big party where everybody got to try every single Tetris game.
That's really funny. That's awesome.
Even Tetris for CDI. I bought a CDI merely to play a Tetris game.
Oh, ew, the CDI is horrible.
I know.
Yeah.
So was that Tetris game.
I bought one to play the Zeldas, and I'm not going to say I regret it, but it was a challenging experience.
Yeah. Thankfully, I'm not that into Zelda, so I almost bought a CDI that contained those two games as well, but I'm kind of happy I didn't.
They aren't worth playing. They're not even entertaining in oh, this is so bad, this is fun. It's just like frustrating and horrible the whole time. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything there. So how many you set up to like 70 Tetris games now?
Yeah, like over 70.
And
closer to 80, I think.
And is there an end in sight to the Tetris games? Do you just need like a few more, or? I
don't know. I think I've found like most of the common and some of the uncommon ones now. There's only one that I'm actually looking for. No, two that I'm looking for that I don't have that I've seen that I want. And one is Tetris Grandmaster for arcade.
Okay.
The Grandmasters. And then there's a Japanese plug-and-play console called Minna no Tetris. And that one looks so cute. It's like baby blue and baby pink, two controllers that you just plug in and you can play different versions versus another player. Oh wait, there's another one. There's also the one for Game Boy Advance that was only released in Japan. That's also one that I'm looking for. It's also called Minna something.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
No, I just saw a picture of it and I'm like, wait, what's that? That's Tetris. Oh my god. And then I started like digging into it and I found the name and I just started looking everywhere. But I can only find loose cartridges of it and somehow I want my Tetris collection to be with boxes.
Well, I understand that. And what is your favorite Tetris now? Now that you've gone through all these Tetris games, which one do you find you like the best?
Oh, that
Or
is so
couple?
hard because there's
Yeah,
so many
couple.
that are good in different ways. But so many people have asked me that question. I've just ignored it. I
You
haven't
just
answered.
ignored it? Okay.
But
And
yeah,
now Johnny put you on the spot.
Yeah.
yeah. I really like the Tetris DX
Okay.
for Game Boy Color.
Yep.
I like V Tetris on Virtual Boy because it's got an awesome soundtrack. I really like the Tengen Tetris on NES because it has this co-op mode that is hysterical.
It has a co-op mode?
It has a co-op mode. You play simultaneously on one screen. You control each a different block. And it's hilarious because I played this with a friend of mine who's really good at Tetris. She's like the only person I know that beats me at Tetris. And we started off playing really well together. Like, we're both good at Tetris and we just knew what to do. And after a while, we're both kind of competitive, especially her. And we both started realizing that even though it's co-op and we work together on the same board, whoever actually puts down the piece that makes a line gets the points because we have separated points. And then we just started fighting. And we started like trying to get underneath the other person to get the line, and we just like fucked everything up and destroyed it for for both of us because we started competing. But it's really fun. It's a really fun game.
I had no idea that one had a co-op mode.
You have to check it out. It's hilarious. It's so well made as well. It's
That's
really
I
good.
feel like that's a good one for like my next party when we're having a few drinks.
Yeah,
Because I think it would be even more funny.
definitely.
Yeah.
There's also a co-op mode in the Wii Tetris Party Deluxe game, I think. That one also has a co-op mode. Those are the only two I know that have a co-op mode.
That's really strange. I started on the Tengen Tetris. That was the first one I ever played. And
You never played co-op?
No, and like a friend brought it to me to play too, and we never played co-op.
You just need one cart, 2 controllers.
Yeah, I don't know what
It's
our
just
problem was.
cooperative.
I don't know how we missed it. I was pretty young, so who knows? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's back when that came out, and it was a big deal because like it was like, oh look, it's like in a black carton and this gold box. Where did this come from? Like it was a
real-
mystery to
real
us.
exclusive.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to try it now, Johnny.
Yep.
I am. I have the Retron plugged in. I was doing some retro gaming over the long weekend, so it will be easy to go do.
Have you ever played Tetris on the Famicom?
I have not. Is it different?
There's various versions, but the one that is released by BPS, I just call it BPS Tetris. That one is also really, really fun. When people say that they are good at Tetris and they like Tetris, I always force them to play that one because they completely messed up the controls. And I think it's a nice challenge because I'm so used to playing Tetris. So for me, when something is different, I like it.
How did they change the controls?
If you press A or B or like the 1 and 2 buttons, you're just going to drop the piece. Both of them just drops the piece instantaneously and you cannot move it or change it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and those are the ones you usually turn with. If you want to turn, you have to press up on the D-pad.
That's weird. Okay.
And there's no way... No, you have to press down, I think. It's either or, but there's no way of making the piece go a little bit faster if you just wanted to go down a little bit faster to push it in somewhere. So a lot of people just fuck up when they play that game, and it's so much fun to watch. Eventually you get into it, though, if you're mildly good at it. And it has a really awesome soundtrack as well, called Techno Tetris.
Yeah, I did not know about that either. You, Kat? Have you heard of this?
No.
Are you good at Tetris, Kat?
I gotta be honest, I hate Tetris.
You hate Tetris?
I hate
Okay,
Tetris.
hate
I find it frustrating. It's not that I'm not good at it. I don't know. But anything kind of puzzly, like I know, Johnny, you and I have talked about this before. I can't stand for some reason. I have no idea why. There's no logical reason. It makes me cringe a little bit. And it's not like I can't sit there and play it. I think that there are other things I go to. Like we had a Tetris arcade cabinet, and I was like, I don't think I ever actually played a game on it. And I love arcade cabinets. Like if it comes down to that and I had to choose, I just like it for nostalgic reasons and things like that. But I don't know. I can't get into it. And John really likes it. And I don't know.
For me, it's like meditation. I can just sit down and my brain is not even like, I'm not even thinking about anything. I'm just playing Tetris and relaxing. Even when it goes super fast, my mind is just like in the game and it's just relaxing for me. It feeds my OCD, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good reason to like Tetris then.
Yeah, no, I have some games where I kind of get those moments as well that I use, but not
What kind of
Tetris.
games are that then?
I will go to a Lego beat 'em up game, and I don't think at all. I just like the process of smashing everything and collecting studs, like just kind of mindlessly.
That is really satisfying.
Yeah,
that is like
it's a feel good moment. You're just like, okay, and I've got all those studs. And then the nice thing, if you miss them, then they just disappear. So it's not even like they linger. I like that they just go away, and all the stuff you break. It's just like cleaning a room. It's like, oh, it's done. That's, yeah, it feels good. So when I play a Lego
game. Do you play Minecraft as well?
I don't play Minecraft, but I build.
Have you ever tried it?
I have not, and that's weird because I love Legos. So I built that's the other thing I do. I just build Legos. Like when I really need to mentally remove myself from a day, I'll just build Legos all day.
I build perler beads.
Oh, do you? Do you?
That's kind of the same.
Yeah. Do you
Except
like
it's not
purling?
2D.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes I kind of toned it down a little bit. I had a period where I did it a lot, and then I went on to these mini pearls. You know, they're super, super tiny. And I spent like 2 weeks every evening. I sat and I made a whole, big square, and I filled it up with like, a screenshot from Fantasy Zone. And it was beautiful. And when I went down to iron it, I fucked it up. And after those 2 weeks spent making it, I just got really pissed that it got destroyed. And I toned it down after that. So now I just do it like once every 2 months. I can sit down and maybe perler a little bit. Or if I have a project where I make like a perler bead for something, like I made a Game Boy with Tetris on it for my Tetris competition. So somebody would win it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never tried purling. I see a lot of people doing it. I'm like, it looks like something my dogs are going to eat, is what it looks like to me. And they'll eat Legos too if they can get them. But purlers seems harder to clean up, and I'm already a little too OCD. It's just like if I mess that up or spill that, it's gonna be.
Don't spill it then.
Well, that's the here's the thing.
I've managed to avoid it.
When you're a little OCD and also really clumsy, it's like the worst combination ever.
Okay,
So,
that's true.
Yeah, I've dumped full boxes of like sorted Legos and like holding like 3 of them and just trip over my own feet and watch them all get mixed and scattered to the floor. So yeah, I see purlers and I just like I think it's better to avoid. Just I know myself enough to be like this is going to be a mistake.
I feel like you'd spend a lot of time organizing it, knowing your personality type, like organizing it in order to actually sit down and do it.
That is me to a T. Like, I'm going to organize this for 3 hours and then maybe put 20 minutes worth of work into it. I
do that too.
Yeah.
I can spend hours just sorting chests in Minecraft. It's so satisfactory. Like, I just want everything to be neat and tidy. And my favorite thing to do in Minecraft is just to dig perfect tunnels. Where I exchange all the materials that show up in the wall underground. Like if there's one piece of dirt among all the stone, I'm going to have to replace it.
Oh my goodness.
And I can't just replace it with cobblestone. I'm going to have to go up and burn that cobblestone so it turns into regular stone so I can put it back so it looks the same like before I mined it. So yeah, that's OCD.
No, you're speaking to my secret heart. I understand. I understand that need completely.
I'm surprised you still haven't tried Minecraft, Johnny, because I feel like it would be like a perfect exercise of being able to be as OCD as you wanted in whatever way you wanted to do it.
I just feel like there's some things I just avoid, even if I think I'll like them, because I understand the minute I do that.
Too time consuming.
Right, exactly. I'm like, well, I have too many things I enjoy doing. If I do this, what do I have to shave off the list that I enjoy doing?
Right.
And and then especially when something is new, then the OCD is super hard. It's just like, totally all-consuming, must complete, have to do all the time, losing sleep, and I just I've looked at Minecraft, and my friend has like a beautiful. I've like looked into it, and, and seen some Minecraft worlds, and his is awesome, and I've checked out some awesome Minecraft builds, and I just said, nope, I should not do this. This is something that will be a mistake. Like, I think yesterday I played the new Lego Star Wars for like 14 hours.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I've definitely done that. I've got lost in Minecraft building things and been like, oh, I've wasted my entire day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was
Like
a
this-
legit 14 hours. It was awful and wonderful at the same time.
Last Friday, I had a friend that gave me an advice on a game, and because he thought I would like it, and it's an online game. Like, you just play it straight in your web browser, but you can also download it on Steam or whatever. It's called Manyland, and it's kind of a mix between Minecraft, Terraria, and like a World of Warcraft type of game where you can actually chat to people in a massive world, and you can build pixel graphics, but you can actually build the pixel graphics, like draw them yourself, which is amazing. And I just tried it out a little bit on Saturday, and I ended up sitting up till 4 o'clock in the morning. No, that was Friday night, 4 o'clock in the morning. And on Saturday night, I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
just
goodness.
couldn't let it go. And I still have this craving right now that probably as soon as we hang up, I'm probably going to sit down on my couch and just play Manyland.
Yeah. No, I woke up about an hour before the show, and then I went downstairs and played Star Wars for like 45 minutes. I'm just on the quest to 100% that game. Hell or high water.
It's a Monday and it's 9 o'clock. What do you do for a living?
It's a holiday here. It's our Independence Day. But
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I actually saw that movie yesterday.
Oh,
The
did
second
you?
one. Mhm.
And?
Just what I expected. It's like another action movie. It's like, oh yay. I don't really like those kind of action movies. They're too predictable. And, they're all the same basically. My fiance, he really liked it though.
Okay.
Because he liked the first one. And he liked the special effects.
I really enjoyed the first one when I saw it, but I think I was 18 when the first one came out.
And back then it was cool.
Right,
and
yeah.
with special effects that were amazing. But today, it's like everything else you see. Everything is grand.
Yeah, I have not seen it. I actually, my cousin and one of my best friends and I saw it all together when we were 18, and I want us all to go see it together again. Because
I can't wait for the Tetris movie to come out, though.
There's a Tetris movie?
You didn't know about that?
I know.
I didn't know about that either.
They're gonna make a trilogy. It's an American guy and the guy from China, and they're making this together. And they got the license from Tetris, and it's gonna be recorded in China, I think, with Chinese actors, and it's gonna be a sci-fi thriller, and they're gonna make it a trilogy. I know.
I don't even know what to say.
I know the game doesn't even have a story, but it's something about creating order out of chaos. They're spinning on that and gonna make some kind of sci-fi thriller trilogy.
You know, it sounds.
It's gonna be special effects by the guy who made Spider-Man, I think. He's in on it as well.
Wow, kind of sounds awful.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that sounds terrible to me. I will probably watch it.
Yeah.
But I guess as long as you embrace the terribleness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Super Mario Bros. Movie that they made back in the 90s.
Oh, that was awful.
It's terrible, but it's still good in a way because it's so terrible.
Yeah. I actually can't get to it coming back to good for me. I'm just like, I can't watch the Mario movie. It's too bad. But I can watch the He-Man movie and enjoy that, even though it's terrible.
God, you just reminded me. I have to watch that. I still haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's awful. Well, especially if you know anything about the cartoon at all.
I love the cartoon. I watched it all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. It was one of my favorites. So yeah, that movie is terrible, but I still somehow enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kat, you watch He-Man much?
No.
No, I didn't expect you were watching any He-Man.
No, I have never watched it.
No, you're also a little young for He-Man.
Yes, yeah, no, I don't even remember the cartoon being on TV when I was younger.
When you were younger,
How old
it would
are
have
you?
been the New Adventures of He-Man.
28.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm 37, so there's a pretty big age gap there.
I even had He-Man, those old cartoons on VHS, and I would watch them over and over and over. The same episodes. I know them by heart.
Oh yeah, what is your favorite He-Man episode? Do you have a favorite?
The one where they're going to that, oh god, what was her name? There's this queen with red hair and a white dress, and she turns evil, but they used to buy this kind of metal from her, so they always went there, and then one day they noticed that something is wrong with her, and then Skeletor have taken over her kingdom, and they have to save her. And she looks so creepy when she's evil.
I wonder who that is. I'm not familiar with that episode. I know I've seen every episode, so I've seen it, so I wonder.
She binds He-Man in, like, she's like, does magic and stuff, and she throws like chains on him. And then there's like a duplicate of her in the end where he has to figure out which one is the real woman. And then they both do this thing where they trap him in her special metal, but only one of them is the right one, and he can't get out of that one because it's too strong, even for He-Man.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
He-Man had a lot of, suddenly we're the He-Man podcast, but, yeah, it had a lot of interesting sci-fi writers who went on to other stuff and became like well-known writers, like Michael J. Straczynski, who was a big writer on some shows and stuff and wrote some books. But yeah, He-Man had like a dearth of quality people associated to like a really strange cartoon, and it introduced continuity, which wasn't like really a big thing in cartoons back then. So that's why I loved it. You're just like, it keeps going. Like there's more to this world. Yeah, I loved He-Man.
I think it's weird how they never made any video games out of that. Or did they?
There was one on the Atari, I think, and there is one on the GBA. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's a He-Man for the GBA.
And Atari?
I thought there was one for Atari.
The 2600 or no?
My Atari knowledge is pretty loose, but yeah, I think the 2600. But again, I could be making that up right now. That's what
I am eBaying it right now.
Yeah, you let us know. We'll go live. This is not the first time we've gone live to eBay.
Atari 2600 Masters of the Universe, The Power of He-Man loose game manual comic. I have to get that.
Yeah, I did know something about Atari. There we go.
Wow, I have a lot of Atari games actually.
I don't have. I made kind of the cutoff at Nintendo. I said Nintendo and forward is where I'm going. And decided to cut Atari out of that.
No, that's fair. I know we have a few in the game room, and like some in television and things like that, but I wouldn't know what they are.
Atari is hard, and Haiti, you said you don't like do lists or anything. I do list, and when you like get to Atari, those lists are very hard to manage and to create. Oh, yeah. So when I looked into it, I was just like, nope, that seems like a black hole. So I won't go there, and that was my decision on Atari. I have like 4
for me,
Atari
I just
games.
buy whatever, and I love the Atari games. They're so cute, and there's a lot of really good ones on there as well, like Cosmic Arc and a bunch of different ones. But what's really annoying for me when it comes to eBay though is that many of the things that I'm looking for were only released in the US, so I have to import it. And fine, I don't mind paying $18 for a He-Man cartridge for Atari, but when the shipping is $26.45, then it gets kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, shipping is crazy right now. It's
to ship though.
So let me ask you, what is it? And I know Kat and I are both curious. I know she's got to deal with some lame stuff because she's in Canada and can't get stuff from the U.S. So it's kind of affected her collecting. But how has that started to shape your collecting now as like tariffs and import fees go up and shipping is getting out of hand?
Well, it is annoying, but I've always had kind of expensive shipping from abroad, like especially when it comes to eBay. Some of them just try to rip you off on the shipping. like, it's just $1, but then the shipping is $537. It's like, what? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Like,
shipping's
add the
more
price
than
of-
the item,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
But apart from that, the first 8 years or 9 years that I was collecting, I bought a lot of stuff from eBay. I bought an Atari with 62 games for it that some lady found in her attic. I bought a boxed Virtual Boy with a couple of games. It was only like, I don't know, $60 back then. And all of these things, I never got any taxes on it when it arrived here in the customs. But lately, it's like the Swedish customs have flagged me because I've been buying so much stuff from Japan and from the States that they're probably thinking that I'm running some kind of business or something. So almost every single package I get that is over $10 worth, I get ridiculous amount of taxes that I have to pay as well. And it's really, really annoying. Because it's not like I can find that Famicom game here in Sweden. Like, the only way for me to buy it is to buy it from overseas. And I don't really think it's fair that they add all those taxes on it when it's something you can't actually buy here. I understand it if I would to buy my MacBook from the States because it's cheaper for me with the currency exchange or something. Then I understand that they would want to add the tax because it's something I might as well have bought here in Sweden.
Right.
But when it comes to those vintage old things that are just one of a kind or just rare or not even, you can't even get it here, I think it's ridiculous that they're supposed to add taxes on it.
Yeah, you're not taking anything from the Swedish economy by buying, a 25-year-old Nintendo game.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's really harsh.
I'm probably giving more to the economy because I'm bringing it here.
Probably.
If I would ever sell it to a store that would start selling it here, then the taxes would go to Sweden instead of being stuck in Japan.
So do you find it is cheaper to ship things in from the U.S. or from Japan?
Japan, for sure.
Yeah.
They are more honest and they don't put up like ridiculous amounts. I mean, I've checked, I know what it costs to send different packages from the States. But the prices have gone up, it has. But also, it's not as expensive as they say on eBay. Usually they add a couple of dollars just to make a bit of profit on the postage as well.
Yeah, well, I also find that as someone who gets a lot of packages, that people don't know what they're doing when they're shipping. So they don't know all of the available options to ship.
Yeah.
And so they do whatever's easy, and usually, like with most things, easy is more expensive.
Yeah.
So they'll just like put it in a flat rate box. Like in California, a guy wanted to charge me like $14 shipping in a medium flat rate box when it was like £1. But he could have just shipped it normally and it would have been like $7. But it wasn't malicious. It was just ignorance, which is, just as bad, but still.
Well, sometimes if it's something I really, really want, I will send a message to the seller and ask them if there's any other shipping options or any way to reduce the shipping cost. And some people are nice and they will look around and they will, find something. Other than that, sometimes they won't. So, I mean, you can always ask.
Yeah, no, I ask a lot, and then, just because I'm usually asking people to ship things in a box and not a padded envelope. And, results are like 50-50 on that.
Yeah.
Some
people are just lazy.
Yes. Well, some people care about the rating and some people are they just want a few dollars and they don't care. Sounds like we have a buzzsaw in the background. Kat, is that you?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to be quiet so you don't have to edit me out. You can just edit out my channel.
All right. Well, I can't actually edit your channel because you are tied to Heidi's channel.
Oh, okay. Here I am
Yay.
trying to be quiet, thinking that you can edit that out. No, I have all the windows closed and everything when they're doing friggin' construction again. It's always worse in the daytime.
Yeah, no worries. We will. I know a way to kind of minimize that. It's not actually too bad.
Here I am being quiet. I'm like, I will not talk, and then it'll be less editing.
Nope. Feel free to be interjecting, Kat.
I think it actually sounds less when you are talking, because when you're not talking, the microphone picks up the background noise and makes it louder. When you
Yes.
are talking, it focuses on your voice instead. And that
That's a good
thing
point.
is, yeah. So just keep talking constantly. Just don't shut up. Just constantly.
That's okay. We can do that.
All right, go. No, Haiti and I are both waiting for you, Kat. Go ahead.
In terms of shipping, I'm okay with shipping if I really want something, like I can justify the shipping cost. John hates to pay shipping on everything. Like, he hates it. Like, if we have to pay shipping, it's really, I don't know. I think even if he really wanted it, I don't know that he could justify the shipping cost. So I feel like if I really wanted something, I would just order it. Be like, oh, I had to pay shipping on this, as opposed to be like, I think I'm going to order this. You'd be like, what's the shipping cost?
Yeah, I won't, normally I won't ship anything international. Like, I won't, buy anything international because of, just like the ridiculous fees. Even though eBay has added, like, a feature where you can now ship internationally from the US and it's cheaper, but, I have not tried that out yet.
Well, I find shipping, it's usually cheaper for me to ship something to the States than somebody in the States to ship something to me. That's what I found anyway.
Yeah, with the box I shipped you, it was, not twice as expensive, but maybe a third as expensive as what you shipped me, and they were roughly the same size box.
It was the exact same size box. I reused your box.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So, but yeah, point in case, and I think that's harder because sometimes it's hard to justify the extra cost, and I don't know, and with eBay and the import fees and stuff like that, it turns like I just would rather buy a lot of games instead of, pay double the price for something, basically, by the time I've shipped it here and paid the import.
Yeah, I don't envy either of your positions as far as having to ships and custom tax and all that. We don't have to deal with that, and I'm very happy. I definitely wouldn't be collecting as hard if I had to deal with that.
Then again, it's much cheaper for me to buy stuff from Germany or from France and in the UK, basically, since we're all in the European Union.
Right. Well, sorry, Great Britain.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they will limit the amount of export and import, though. I don't think they will make it harder. That would really just be stupid for them. That depends on if the EU, if the European Union wants to punish them for leaving or something. Then maybe.
I imagine it could get a little weird for the first year or two, as everybody tries to sort everything out and get back to a normal sense of what's going on there. So you said 5,600 games now, about, right?
Yeah, a bit above that.
A bit above that. So what led to all the other side projects? Because you said you love to game and stuff. Was it just a need to kind of express that love to other people, or just to talk about it? How did you get to the blog and all of your other projects?
I was very reclusive. I was just here in my place with all my games. I was very passionate about them, and I didn't have a single friend that was as passionate about games as I was. I tried to persuade my closest girlfriends to become gamers like me by showing them a bunch of games, and some of them really enjoyed it. And one of them, my best friend, she's super into games today. She's become a hardcore gamer, thanks to me. And I think I started my blog just to share my interest online, just to be able to, get everything out, because my friends were getting sick of me talking about all the stuff I bought and look at this is from this, and telling all the stories about Atari and stuff. And they were like, it's not that interesting, Haiti. We know you're into this, but can we talk about something else? So I think I started my blog mainly to just have an outlet where I can just speak about my stuff, talk about my collection, and show all the things that I find. And also I want to kind of preserve them, I feel like a lot of the things I buy is sometimes not very common, people might not have known about this game and it's a really good game, and then I just want to enlighten people. So I just want to share it, to make sure that everybody finds out about these hidden treasures and everything, and show them what else I'm finding and stuff. And I started a blog 4 years ago or something now, I think.
Yeah, it looks 2012.
Yeah. probably. And I made a lot of friends through that. Friends in Canada, friends in the US, friends all over the world that started reading my blog, and we started like trading games, and I have a lot of friends thanks to that now. And I started going to conventions here in Sweden that were just retro gaming, pure retro gaming conventions. I didn't even know those existed until I started finding friends that told me about them, because I'm not much for, searching for things online. Okay. I just kind of go for whatever bumps into me or whatever somebody tells me. I don't really have time to sit and just, search for things myself or explore. So basically, friends told me about these various conventions. I started attending them. I made lots of friends there. And then I started an Instagram account, and I just upload pictures of the shit I buy.
Yeah.
And stuff that I enjoy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was nice when I first got on Instagram, and I was just like, okay, here's the stuff I like, and then immediate feedback of like, oh, hey, we like this stuff too. There was a group of people.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's nice. I mean, I was on some forums and stuff, but
I've never been that much into forums.
They're good and they're bad. There's
I know, but it feels like you really have to linger there and stay in place for a long time before people know who you are.
It's true, and that's one of the negatives about it. And then
Yeah, I joined the Neo Geo forum just for the trades, and oh my god, what a horrible place.
Oh yeah, the Neo Geo forum is a little bit they're rough, and that's the other part. Some I'm mainly on Nintendo Age, and most of those guys are all right, but there's moments where even that place is just like, okay, I have to leave this place, and Instagram is, I find, a much more palatable experience for me.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I like Instagram as well, and Twitter I just check once in a while. It's there, it kind of updates itself. But I've made a lot of friends on there as well. And it's fun to have these friends all over the world, because usually I travel a lot, and when I do, I usually go to places where I know somebody and they can take me around to know the good stores where you can find retro games and stuff. And it's just been a hell of a ride, just getting to know all these fellow collectors and just learning from each other about different games and different systems, and also having a community that you can go back to. If you ever have a problem with something, you're sure to find at least 50 people that know how to help you with it. And that is amazing. I'm really thankful for all those people.
Yeah, the community knowledge pool is probably the best part about all of these interactive places you can go.
Yeah.
As someone who collects sets, there's a lot of times I need to vet out knowledge and find out if a game actually exists or what region it was actually in. And, forums have been instrumental in that. And I'm still pretty, Instagram only for the last year. But a lot of good information out of there, too, especially with something like Wii collecting. When I have a question about that, there's a lot of good resources there.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's mainly about fixing things that are broke, or when I don't understand how things work. And these last 4 years, I've learned so much. I mean, I can even open up a C64 now and kind of figure out a few things that could be wrong with it. I had no clue how to do that before.
Nice. So you know how to solder now, I assume?
I'm not really soldering, but I can identify where issues are and stuff.
Well, soldering is easy. If you
I
can play
to learn
Tetris,
that.
you can solder.
I just need to find one of those things.
Yeah, well, get
me one of those.
No cold soldering. That's a myth and a lie. And if you can touch an area and touch the piece of solder, you can solder. It's a point and click adventure.
There you go. I've never heard it referred to like that. That's a first.
Yeah, that's pretty much what soldering is.
Yeah.
So now out of this blog and now all your followers and stuff, and you also have other side projects, and that's Geeky Gals. And what is that?
Geeky Gals is a thing that me and my best friend, we were sitting in a restaurant, and we both had our Instagram accounts, and hers was mainly Xbox. She just wrote about Xbox stuff, and I just wrote about my retro games. And for me, I just want to be polite to people. Like if I have a retro gaming channel on Instagram, I want people to follow me because I put up retro gaming things. I can't start putting up Xbox things on there because some people might not be interested in that. It's just the same thing with me not wanting to follow people who put up pictures of their food or their babies. It's the same thing, you know. I want to follow people who are dedicated to one thing on their channel. If it's too messy with different things, it gets annoying. And we were in the same mind of thought there, and I kind of wanted to be able to Instagram my other things, like all my other geeky things, like board games and my new generation consoles. I have the PS4, I have the Xbox One and the Wii U, 3DS, and I just felt I couldn't really upload that on my Instagram channel. So my friend came up with the idea, Becky. She said that, why don't we make an Instagram account that we can all go into and just upload whatever geeky things that we, you know, that we enjoy and that we do. And I thought it was a great idea, so we sat there and we came up with the name Geeky Gals, and we created the channel and invited two of our other girlfriends that are also very geeky. We should usually have like girls gaming nights together a couple of times a year. So we all had this channel and we started uploading geeky things from our everyday life, and it escalated to a blog where we started blogging a little to be able to write a little bit longer about stuff when we wanted to review a game or something. And we've been going to conventions together, and we cover those things. And eventually people started noticing us. So here in Sweden, we've been asked to host like retro gaming events down in Malmö, and we've been hosting a quiz at a big concert that they had called Joystick. It's like a symphonic orchestra that was playing video game music.
Nice.
And we held like a little music quiz with retro game music before the concert started and stuff like that. So we just like to get involved with the nerd culture and the gaming culture of Sweden, and we invite, you know, girls to feel that they should be able to do this as well, you know. It's not really, we're not really trying to, yeah, we're just showing that we're just having fun, we like what we're doing, and we're just doing it. We don't try to be all political, and because there's a lot of, you know, girl blogs where girls are gamers and they're either negative or aggressive, or they have some kind of standpoint where they're just doing it for the heck of it, or try to show that, you know, I can do this too, or they're very feminist and they're writing about what's sexist in games, or what's wrong with this or what's wrong with that. We're not like that. We just want to have fun.
Yeah, your non-politicized view of it. Okay.
We're just trying to stay on the down low and just, you know, we're just having fun. We're just doing this. It doesn't have to be a political statement or anything like that. We just want to have fun and show people that we can have fun.
And have people been respectful, or, you know, for the most part?
Yeah. There's only one single person ever that attacked us on Instagram and made a big deal out of the fact that we called us Geeky Gals. And it's like, well, it's a catchy name. You know, that's what it is. We're not calling us gals just to, you know, show that we're girls. We happen to be girls. It's the same thing as somebody else calling themselves boys, you know, for some reason, like in their name.
That's kind of an inane thing to go after you guys about.
Yeah. But he was really, really aggressive about it. But we had lots of people that just stood up for us and defended it. So we didn't really have to do a lot of it. I just told him, chill. It's just a name, dude.
Yeah, relax. Not that big a deal. Yeah, you're doing pretty good if only one person has come after you.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, some of the girls were scared that we would get a lot of haters and stuff, but it's mainly been love because we're just spreading love. We're not hating on anything or anyone or any, you know. We can tell that a game is good or that it's bad, but we're not going to go like, oh, this game was all sexist because of the way they portray women. And, you know, it's like, if some of us feel that, we keep it to ourselves. It's not like we have to be like a big political movement.
Well, it's not your agenda. Your agenda is not the
Yeah.
politics. Your agenda is playing the game.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you have to share that as well. There's too many political things out there now, so.
If someone needs political commentary, your channel isn't the place for it.
No, there's forums.
Yeah, plenty of places you can go. And I want to ask about your Castlevania collection. Because how did you work? Because I'm jealous of your Castlevania collection.
Really?
Yeah. Castlevania is one of my favorite series, and I told you that's how I found it. I was like, what am I missing from my Castlevania collection? And that's how I found your blog.
Well, I've always loved Castlevania. I've tried it once as a kid, and it was so mysterious and spooky, and I loved the music and everything. So I just started getting the Castlevania games whenever I bumped into them. Eventually, I had quite a lot of them, and I really loved the Game Boy Advance ones. I loved the NES ones. And I haven't really been searching, but Castlevania is a famous game. You hear about it.
Yes.
And people tell you that, oh, did you know there's a Castlevania on PC Engine? And I'm like, ooh, really? And then I had to get it. I even had 2 copies of it once. I sold one of them. I traded it for a Philips video pack. G7200. Which is quite rare. It has a built-in screen. It's really awesome. But yeah, so I've just been finding a bunch of Castlevania games, and I ended up having a lot of them. I recently found another guy on Facebook that was selling off some of his games, and I found some bootleg Castlevania games that I've never heard of, so I just made sure to pick those up as well.
Is that where you got that Castlevania X Dracula Evil Trevor?
Yes. Yeah. It was kind of cheap as well. Paid like, I don't know, $25, $30 for it.
I've been looking for this game and I have not been able to find it now. I'm like, what the hell is this? I want it.
You have to have it now, right?
I do. It's on my eBay save search already.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never heard of it either. And not this little Russian hack as well.
Yeah, the new generation or whatever.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I love the way they did the box art on that one, though. It's like nice that they kind of full screened, took out the silver borders of the original Castle.
One. Yeah, it looks really awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
But yeah, I just love Castlevania mainly because of the music, and I like that it's kind of a hard platformer, but it has to be 2D. As soon as it became 3D, like for the Nintendo 64, I think they suck.
Oh yeah, no, those ones are pretty awful. I also didn't enjoy the PlayStation / Xbox ones. Those weren't very good. Though I did like the newest one. And
on 3DS? Lords of Shadows? It's Lords of Shadow.
Yeah, Lords of Shadow, yes. I like that one alright. It wasn't strictly Castlevania, but it tied in some of the mythos, so I enjoyed the story aspects, even though the gameplay wasn't exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of bored with those single-player adventures that are all 3D and you run around and stuff. And they take too long to finish as well. It's like, I don't really get into it. So for me, it has to be 2D.
Did you play Mirror of Fate?
That's
the 3DS one?
The 3DS. Yes, I did. I tried that for a while as well, when I was on a trip, and it bugged me as well that it wasn't all 2D. They should have stick to like what they did with Portrait of Ruin, Dawn of Sorrow, and all the other DS games.
Yeah, I thought this one was alright. I thought it was like a weird 2.5D blend. And,
yeah.
I was okay. Like, I think had they maybe gone with that approach, something, it's a little more subtle than the over-the-top 3D that they tried to do when it came to PS2 and the 64. Something like that, I feel like maybe would have eased the transition a little better. But now I feel like the series is just kind of all over the map as far as what they're doing.
Did you know that the guy who created original Castlevania series is making his own new game now?
Bloodstained?
That is 2D. Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodstained. Yeah, I'm all over Bloodstained. I'm waiting.
Yeah. I've ordered it.
Yeah, me too. That's pretty excited when that one comes out.
Definitely.
Though I'm worried after the whole thing with Mighty Number 9. Just that left a bad taste in my mouth. That was the original Mega Man creator, kind of redid a Mega Man property.
Oh, yeah. Is that bad? I remember seeing I saw like the front of it, Mighty Number 9. I think it's on Xbox, right? It's on Xbox One.
Right.
I think I saw it in the store and I'm like, wow, that looks like Mega Man.
Yep, and it's not though, just.
But the name reminded me of that kids show. Something with a 9, with a kid.
I don't know, there was Ben 10.
Yeah, the Ben 10, that's the one, okay.
Yeah.
The Ben 10. So I just looked at the cover and I was like, oh no, that's going to be a kid's game.
It is not good. This is where...
Is it a 2D, like...
kind of.
Retro feel kind of game?
Kind of, yeah. It's supposed to... to me, this is the point in the show where Kat would say, I'm going to go into a rant, so I'll try to contain that.
No, not you.
Yeah, I'm known for it. But it's like the guy who made Mega Man didn't realize what was good about Mega Man and didn't realize what was frustrating about it, and then only committed to the frustrating parts. Like, he didn't understand his own series at all.
Wow.
That's how it feels, because you're just like, well, thanks for bringing all the annoying parts back of this game. Like, this is not... And then, like, there's the voice acting. And that's the other thing. Like, I think Mega Man had the benefit of not having any of the voice acting and some of these advanced effects, so you didn't know when they were terrible. Like, we probably would have had terrible voice acting in all of the Mega Man games if it was available. We didn't, and that was a blessing, because this one, it's just like super childish and horrible. And then all the graphics, and this is kind of like a weird thing. I don't mind when things have Japanese names or characters look Japanese. I'm totally fine with that. But then it's like super like white looking guy and then super Japanese name. It's like, what is going on? That guy's got like an afro, but he's got a super Japanese name at the same time. It's like,
that's weird.
Yeah, it's just like weird choices. I
think the main problem with today's the people that are making games today, especially when they go back like this guy and recreate an old famous classic, I think they have a problem knowing who their main audience is. They don't know if they should make it for today's kids, so they will get hooked on the series just like we were on Mega Man when we were kids, or if they should kind of aim it towards the adults that are feeling nostalgic about it. So they kind of end up somewhere half in between, and nobody likes it.
Right, and I think you just need to commit one way or the other.
Yeah.
Either forsake one group,
I mean, Shovel Knight did a great job. Shovel Knight is like a totally epic adventure that totally plays on our nostalgic feelings about 8-bit games. And they did a great job, I think.
Yeah, no,
but
Shovel
with music, keeping it classy and keeping it funny and keeping it hard, but still manageable, you know.
Yeah, well, Shovel Knight was aware of what it was, though. Shovel Knight, the creators knew who its audience was and catered to them a little bit, and didn't pull any punches there. They didn't try and stick in this like weird half world that a lot of these other games try to be in. And anyways, you can try the demo, but don't buy it without trying it first, because that might be money poorly spent. And I was a Kickstarter backer, and it was like, everybody on Xbox and everything got it before I got it, and that felt really bad after I, paid into the Kickstarter like 4 years ago. Then other people got it first. You're just like, okay, I'm not feeling good about this experience.
Did you play it on PlayStation then?
I have it on PlayStation 4, and then I have the physical edition on the Wii U.
Oh.
Because on the Kickstarter, what they did is you chose your console early. And so I chose PS4 because it was going to be backwards compatible with the PSP or the Vita. So since I have both of those, I figured, okay. And then I'm ordering the cartridge pack, which comes in a Nintendo shell and then has like a Nintendo box that they send you the code in. That's how it was supposed to go, I guess. None of the physical items have been delivered, just the codes.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wow. That's horrible.
That's a terrible situation to have.
Yeah, well, it's like they said, oh, well, it kept being delayed. It was delayed several times. But I don't understand how that delays the creation of the physical items, because that has nothing to do with the code or anything else. Like, you should have been building that at the same time and have that ready so whenever you polish the game. Anyways, we'll get into rant territory. It's awful. Terrible. Avoid.
Yeah, I think that's good. I watched John play about 10 minutes of it, and I was like, I don't even need to play this. I'm good.
Yeah, I played for an hour. I really tried to enjoy it, and then I just turned it off.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
Yeah, I have not turned it back on. I was like, okay, goodbye.
What kind of games are you into then, Kat?
I tend to like platformers. That usually is my go-to. I do like some RPGs, though I find if it's an RPG that it's really a time investment. I guess I have a bad attention span for really investing a lot of hours in something. I get to a point and I'm like, okay, I'm so far in, that's enough. I don't need to finish it. So I like to play games that I feel like I can actually commit to and finish as opposed to leaving things half done.
Yeah.
So it depends. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm really not one for reading a whole bunch in a game. So I find that if it's a game that is going to have a lot going on in terms of instructions and reading, I just keep pressing the A button and don't pay attention and then get frustrated from my own doing because I didn't pay attention to what was going on. But I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I have to be careful what I pick.
I was playing, like when Final Fantasy 13 came out, both me and two of my girlfriends, who live far away from me, but they also live in Sweden, we all bought it and got it on the release date. And then we sat in a party on Xbox playing it simultaneously, starting at the same time. And both of them are very interested, like one of them is more interested in the story and really reading what they're saying and, looking carefully at everything that's going on. The other one is really into like learning what it's all about. So she goes through every single guide and reads all the manuals and the help things and stuff like that. And I just button mash my way through every type of like whatever they say, if there's a conversation or if there's a guide or whatever. I'm like, yeah, skip it. Yeah. I'm just going to go on. So after a while, I was like so far ahead in the game compared to those two. I finished it like days before them because I had just skipped everything. I was just button mashing my way through it.
That is pretty funny.
But I don't have, I don't have the patience to read. That's why I play games, because I can't read books. I have too short an attention span as well. I just, I start reading the same page over and over again, and I'm like, I don't know what I read. I was thinking about something else. And, then I just have to reread it. So I just quit books a long time ago. And I love video games. But I don't like RPGs because it's too time consuming and they force you to figure stuff out by yourself. As soon as I start a game and you're either in a forest or in a town and you're supposed to just go talk to somebody, I'm just like, what do I do? Where do I go? I'm like, fuck it. Then I just turn it off and put it in my shelf where I have this cabinet with doors and in there are all my shitty games.
Just an
awesome.
RPG prison.
Yeah, that's where they all live.
No, that's what it is. It's an RPG prison. I think there's like 250 or 300 like Japanese RPG Famicom games in there. And some sports games and some like Japanese strategy games. That's basically it. Like,
I need a picture of that. You have to post a picture of that for me. I want to see your RPG prison. Where Haiti sends all of her bad games to go die.
I like that idea.
I still kind of keep them though, because I know I have friends that really appreciate RPGs, and they're like, "Oh wow, do you have a Fire Emblem or whatever they're called?" And I'm like, "Yep."
Right, check the closet.
Yeah, like, but that's not something I'm playing.
They're all color coded, so I can just look through the blue ones if I know it's a blue cartridge. And, so I can easily find it for people who wants to play it, but most of the time they're just sitting in that prison.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But no, I can totally sympathize with that.
So the other thing you have, which I find pretty unique, is you have a ton of systems, right? How many systems do you have?
Ooh, I'm up to like 250 maybe.
That's a crazy amount of systems.
That's insane.
How many are unique?
Yeah, I haven't actually counted the unique ones, but I did once. I think it's like 150 or 70, 170 maybe. I don't know.
That's insanity.
That's like mind-blowing to me. I feel like 50 is a lot, let alone that amount.
Yep.
Yeah, like
how many games and systems do you have? Like, I don't really know what's normal because I just have my measure with.
Oh god, not that many because I mean we always focused mainly like on NES and then some Super Nintendo and all the Game Boys and stuff like that and Master System and but like nothing I don't even know, like it wouldn't be anywhere near that when I think about that. I'm like I could name them all, but it's not that many.
I have 220 exactly. I just looked up my my thing.
Yeah.
I have a list.
I mean, I have about 7,000 games, but I don't have nearly that many systems. I mean, I have like a lot of duplicate like N64 and NES consoles for different boxes.
Oh yeah, like having all the versions of the NES boxes, yeah.
But not independent systems. Also, I feel like in America maybe that many didn't come out. So you got like all of your Nintendo, all of your Sega stuff. Like your weird one for Sega is like the Pico. But there's not like too many weird Nintendo systems that came out in the United States.
There's so many people that are just focused on Nintendo. Everybody's so obsessed with Nintendo. I mean, they're good, but there's so many other companies that made awesome games as well.
Yeah, but in America, Nintendo was it. Like even Sega.
I know, it's the same in Sweden. Everybody here is obsessed with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, just there's with SCN collectors, they're called. They're just buying Swedish released Nintendo games. We only got like 210 here, and they want them all boxed and in mint condition. And they had these special types of A4 papers that the Swedish company that imported them and released them here. Because, Sweden got the NES like a year before all the other European countries. Because this guy had a connection with Japan and that company. So he got a deal where he could import it and start selling it here. And they did like a translation of the manuals that they just wrote on A4 papers on a typewriter and then copied them and put them in the boxes so that the Swedish kids would be able to read they had the whole thing going around like they made a Club Nintendo way before Club Nintendo was created by the Nintendo Corporation. They had it here in Sweden where they had support and everything. You could call and get help, and they had the hotline and stuff. And they made a really big thing out of it. So a lot of kids here grew up with Nintendo and they're really fond with it. And these papers, like, I don't get why people collect stuff like that. I understand that if it's sought after, the prices go up, but you can't play a paper. It's just a paper.
Yeah.
With the manual translated into Swedish, but people can pay ridiculous amounts of money for it.
Yeah, that's
like there was
the same
this one guy who
here.
paid 60,000 kroners. Let's see, divided by 8, that's like $7,500 for a piece of paper.
Wow, for just one of these
for just
typewriter
one
translations?
Yes.
Holy God.
Then you understand how insane people are about Nintendo here in Sweden.
Yeah, no, there are collectors like that here. Like people will go like graded mint, manuals, like very fine condition. They go crazy. I don't care about manuals. I like boxes because you display the boxes, and I like the games because you play the games. The manual is just something you can damage when you take the card out. That's my opinion of it.
I sometimes read the manual if I'm stuck in a game, so sometimes it's good to have it, but I'm not going to go like, ooh, I have to keep it in mint condition. I want to be able to use it.
See, I would just go to the internet before I.
There's so many other. I don't like the internet. Like, I never look up a YouTube video or anything before I buy a game. I prefer the surprise of buying something like you did back in the 90s. You just looked at the cover art, look at the back, you're like, read the name, and you're like, this sounds like fun. I'm going to get it. And sometimes it's a disappointment, and sometimes it's like a really fun surprise, and you're like, this is awesome. So I just like that surprise over the whole thing.
But I think that's really neat because that's not something we do now. Yeah. It's like, we got to go YouTube it and find out, do we want it or not? Or we buy it even though it's crappy because we want it for a set.
Exactly. No, I think it's just more exciting that way. I've always done that. I've never looked anything up beforehand. Maybe like once or twice out of my 5,600 games, but that was probably by accident.
That's a very retro way of doing it. I admire that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I agree.
Yeah.
I even use my Nintendo Power sometimes. Like when me and my friend Becky, we played through the Star Wars saga on the Super Nintendo. I had I have the Nintendo powers to go with them, with all the guides through all of those games.
That's
It made it a lot easier when you found a cheat on how to get 99 lives on like one of the.
Yeah, you can't use the 99 life cheat. I love the Star Wars series on the Super Nintendo. Those are my favorite Star Wars games, actually. Empire Strikes Back. Super Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite Super Nintendo games.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
But there's like so many other great systems. I mean, Sega made a lot of great games as well. I love Sega and Nintendo equally. And I think I even appreciate the PC Engine a little bit more than Sega and Nintendo because, I don't know, it's just too mainstream. Everybody's like so into Sega and Nintendo because those were the big ones. But I mean, PC Engine, they made their unique titles that were just for that console. There's hardly a single port on that system. Other than that, true. You got Double Dragon on every single system, on every single thing. You got everything from Atari to Sega and Nintendo. They got the same games, the arcade games, just ported.
Yeah, well, part of that was
over and over.
Nintendo's stranglehold on publishers and what they would allow to be crossed over. Nintendo, in America, Nintendo had a complete stranglehold on the market. I didn't know about the Master System
But like all the great games that were released on PC Engine made by Hudson, for example, Hudson Soft, they are completely unique and you can only get them on the TurboGrafx or the PC Engine. And that's such a great system. There's so many great games that nobody ever experienced because we didn't get it over here.
Yeah, we did. We barely got any TurboGrafx here. You knew one kid. It was like a rumored kid in your class who might have had one, but you never really saw it. And same with Sega, like Master System. Only knew about it at the end of the Nintendo life cycle after Genesis had already kind of hit the market. It was like, oh, they made like something like a Nintendo. Oh, weird. You just growing up during that time in America, you had no idea that these other things happened. Like you knew about Sega because they were very aggressive with their marketing. But TurboGrafx, they tried, and so you kind of heard about them. But you didn't like really get any other systems. I remember when the Jaguar came out, and everyone kind of laughed. Everyone was like, "Yeah, right. No one's buying a Jaguar."
But aren't you like interested in exploring them today?
Oh yeah. No, I have 7,000 games, so it can't just all be Nintendo.
No.
I have a complete Sega collection. I have probably 50 TurboGrafx 16 games. I got like 20 Jaguar games. I do buy for other systems. Like right now I've been focused on sets, and now that I've kind of loosened up on sets, I start to buy things that are just look interesting or things I want to see from other systems. Yeah. So, and when I first started collecting, that's how I collected initially. And then I said, okay, I got to rein myself in and create a system because I'm just buying everything and I won't know what to do with everything. Yeah, I mean, you managed to do it and make it look nice, and I don't even understand how you did that. That is
well, that's important to me. Like, I want to be able to play everything. So I have a room set up with 22 screens right now, where I can have everything connected and I can play everything. And I don't think I would ever want to go for sets, like full sets of everything released for a single system, because there's so many shitty games as well, and you can tell sometimes just by looking at it. Like, I'm not going to start buying baseball games just to have all the games for a system.
Yeah, trust me, it's
except for perhaps Famicom, because you get them dirt cheap, and I'm so close to almost having all of them. But it's not really a goal of mine. I mean, if I see a game that I don't have, I'll buy it. But I'm not really looking.
That's what happens, though. You get close, and you're like, oh, well, those ones are pretty cheap, and then all of a sudden you've got a set, and then you're like, well, I might as well, and then you get into another one, and then it snowballs, and like right now I'm like at the point where I said, no more sets. I just completed Super Nintendo. Said, all right, I'm done with Nintendo collecting pretty much, except for like some Wii U stuff. I've said I'm not going to do any more sets, but we'll see if that holds up. I doubt it.
I can't see you abandoning in sets totally. Like, I feel like you'll want that structure.
Well, I'm going to finish.
Can you fit everything in a room?
Mostly. If you've seen pictures of my office, it's pretty well organized and together. And then I have a couple different sections in the house where there's other sets, like complete unto themselves.
Yeah. Like, I have all my new games in my living room
Yeah, that's kind of what I have too.
from Xbox 360 and onwards. And I have my DS and PSP games in my work study. And then I have a second living room where I just have that's what I call my retro room. It's just the 70s, 80s, and 90s in here.
Yeah, that's my office. All of my retro games for Nintendo and Sega are in here, and the TurboGrafx as well, and a few PlayStation games, but not all of them. But
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I try to keep it together so I can find things and play things and then access them. But you know, when you do set, you kind of gotta plan ahead because you have to know how much room you have, and space is finite. Like when I bought this house, my wife and I were like, okay, cool. I think I'll have enough room for all of my gaming needs forever.
How wrong you were.
Yeah, well, as now there's like a whole big shelving system in the second living room. My wife is like, oh yeah, totally enough room, huh? It's like, okay. I'm like, so I need a few more 100 square feet.
But for you, will there ever be enough room? Like, I don't know if you're going to hit that point where you're like, I'm done. There's nothing else.
You know, I kind of feel like I could be done soon. I feel like after I finish Vita, which is only like 20 more games now, and Wii U.
But the games are still being released for that.
Yeah, but not at an alarming rate. They're, you know, like one a month or so. Like there was just one released today from a small company. That's the interesting. Vita collecting is actually really strange right now because none of the big box stores here in America have them anymore, except for GameStop. And it's all like small companies like NIS America and Limited Run Games, and even Square, they sell them directly from their websites. So they've cut out like these big box stores and they're not really producing very much anymore. So it's kind of like this new wave of collecting for the Vita, which I find interesting as publishers create like their own special editions that you would never see on a store shelf. So it's been an experience with Vita. So that's interesting about Vita. Wii U is kind of like this weird kind of half alive system that is just slowly, you know, dying out.
Yeah.
And which is unfortunate because I really like the Wii U, actually.
Really?
I do. A lot of people don't understand it, but I enjoy the controller, the gamepad a lot, like with the second screen. I just wish that I could play all of my 3DS and DS games in there as well, since you have two screens available. I find it comfortable, and I like the way it looks. I like the library that they have, though I wish it had more RPGs.
They have so many child-friendly games that just annoy the living hell out of me.
Oh yeah, a lot of their library. I mean, it's Nintendo. They are always trying to be kid-friendly now. Like, it's not where you go for my favorite games anymore. Unfortunately, now most of my favorite games aren't on a Nintendo system, which makes me sad.
So you're a Nintendo fanboy then?
Yeah, a little. I wouldn't say that exactly, because I do love Nintendo, but I'm not opposed to other. I'm not gonna fight with anyone if they say they like Sega better, because I love Sega too. I'm a fan of video games in general. I think video games are awesome. It doesn't matter where a good game comes from. Good games are good games, and I would like to play good games if possible.
Agreed.
That's a good statement.
Yeah, so, I mean, people get really hung up on the publisher. I like Nintendo from a nostalgia childhood standpoint, like, oh, this is what I grew up with. And some of my favorite series live there, even if they aren't there anymore. But, like, right now, Portal 2 is one of my favorite games. BioShock, The Last of Us, and Uncharted. And none of those are on Nintendo systems at all.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like Nintendo makes, they don't make those kind of games anymore. They don't appeal to me as hard as they used to. Now it's more of a nostalgia buy. But I do like the Wii U. Like for co-op games and stuff, I find it to be pretty fun. And then also, I like that I can be watching something on television, and if my wife wants to play a game, she can play on the gamepad right next to me, because she games a little bit, but not a ton. Or, vice versa, if she wants to watch something on the TV, and we can hang out and be by each other in the same room. So, I like that aspect of it as well.
What is the best co-op game on Wii U then?
Probably Smash Brothers or Mario Kart still. Like, nothing changes there. The Mario Kart is really fun if you haven't played that one.
It is a good one.
It's probably my favorite Mario Kart, actually.
I can see that. Like, I mean, I have nostalgic ones like the N64 for certain reasons, but I can see that in terms of playing. When I think back of it, I mean, we don't have a Wii U anymore, but I played a lot of it when we had it.
It's they remade a lot of the classic levels. The gameplay was very tight. It was just well done. It added stuff without being, without trying to remake the game. I hate when people say, they start reviewing games and they say, "Oh, I don't like it. It's too much like the last one." Or, "I don't like it. It's not different enough." I felt like it was a nice blend. Like it hit that middle point.
Yeah,
I've never been that interested in Mario Kart games. I don't know. They just never really appealed to me.
It's a game that I play with friends, so that is where the appeal comes from. Like, oh, hey, this is something I sit down and play with other people, not something that I play too much by myself. Even though I have, but for the most part, I think of it as a social game. Like, for instance, like Call of Duty, which is a terrible game, and I fully admit that. But I have a lot of friends who play, so I'll join them for the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that social side of gaming, which I find enjoyable.
Well, usually I don't play a lot of new games when people are here in person. We usually end up playing retro games because I just have a lot more of those.
Yeah.
And I love finding obscure games, like weird games that I've never heard of or tried before that are a little bit odd and different. And I love showing people those games. So usually when I have people over, I'm just running around like a lunatic going, "Oh my God, have you tried this? Have you seen this one? Oh my God, do you know what this is?" And then I just, keep shoving like games down their throats basically. But it's fun and people usually appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for sure. We just had a game night over and like we were playing Super Bonk on the Super Nintendo and then Fire and Ice, which is Solomon's Key 2 for you, I think, on the NES. So we were just like, there's a lot of retro game playing too when people come over, and I know Kat, when she entertains, does retro gaming as well.
Well, and I think too, for people who don't play games, still have those memories that, oh, I played this when I was younger at somebody's house. So those, I don't know, they just seem nostalgic. So even though they might not be into games, they can still play that and have an awesome time.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've gone pretty long, and I could sit here and probably talk to you for like 3 more hours. But we should be respectful of everybody's time. So
that's okay.
Let's
just fun.
Do a quick wrap up of what we do in the second half, which is, what have you bought lately? Like, tell us 2 or 3 games you most recently bought.
Ooh. I actually hardly remember. I'm gonna have to go into my eBay list. I get games like every day. It was probably something Tetris related. Oh yeah, the last one I got in the mail was Tetris Worlds on PlayStation 2. Okay. I also bought Exploding Kittens, the board game, because a friend of mine told me it was really good. So
yeah, my wife wants to play that, and I was like, "What is this?" She tried to get me to buy it like a month ago, and I was like, "I don't know about that."
It was a lot of fun, actually.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it.
All right. I'll tell her I was wrong.
Yeah. Especially if you get the not safe for work edition.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
It's from ages 30 and up. So sorry, Kat. Yeah, you can't play it.
Yep.
Oh, damn, I'm still too young.
Not for long.
That's all right. 2 more years. 2 more years. That's. I guess I don't want to say that. I want to stay as young as possible for as long as possible, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still feel like I'm 15, and I act like.
Kat, I forget my age all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm 30. Wait, how old am I?
Usually you're 35.
Yeah,
usually.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I stopped. I'm like, I can't get older than 35, right? That's not legitimate for a man older than that to have this many games. Whatever, I don't care. So, Kat, have you bought anything?
Yes, I used my my video game birthday money. Okay, now that makes me sound like I'm still in high school. And I did break down lovely eBay, ordered a Japanese Game Boy Pocket. I'm not saying which color. Obviously, it's not pink or purple because I already have those, but you're all gonna have to wait till it gets here.
I bet it's the gray one.
Actually, you're wrong.
Okay, good.
Or are you wrong?
I don't know. If it's the gray one, if you bought the gray one, that's boring.
You're gonna have to wait till it gets here.
Okay, I'll wait for the Instagram post.
That's fair.
And what did I buy? Oh, I bought some. What the hell did I buy? I bought a bunch of PlayStation games because why not? And I bought a bunch of PSP games. Nothing really interesting. I guess Death Jr. on the PSP is the most interesting thing. And then I did some trades, and I'll post those up on Instagram. Some generous people on Instagram gave me some nice trades.
I was actually looking for Vampire Killer for the MSX.
Yes.
I already bought it from like a collector on Facebook. Got a pretty good deal on it, but it was wrapped in plastic, still factory sealed. And I feel kind of bad opening it up, but I really, really want to play it. So I was scouring eBay for a copy that was opened. And I bumped into a game called Vampire Killer for the Amstrad CPC.
Oh yeah, the tape one?
Yeah, the tape one. And I didn't even realize that it was for the Amstrad. So I just kind of bought it because it was so cheap. I just picked it up immediately. And then I read afterwards that, damn, this is for the Amstrad. I don't even have one of those.
Yeah, you guys got so many weird systems. Like I said, we did not get that many systems. We barely got anything.
Really?
Yeah, no.
But you did get a lot of Pong clones, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, we got, and well, that was part of the problem is like, in that early age of like Pong and all the early Ataris, it kind of collapsed the market. And, it took Nintendo to come in with their very stringent regulations and how they controlled people and publishers to keep it like a healthy market.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, their stranglehold kind of affected how other people entered the market here in America. They didn't do it very well. Genesis was like really the only one until PlayStation, and PlayStation was a monster that Nintendo and Sega made. So, their own fault.
But you must have had a couple of old computers, right?
Yeah.
Amstrad is a computer, like the Commodore and the Amiga.
Right.
And the ZX Spectrum.
We did have things like that, but computers were not as well known to me, and they didn't push as hard into the market as here. Like Commodore 64 and like the Apple IIc were like our big ones, and then it just became like generic PC gaming.
Yeah, that's something I know nothing about.
Yep, I'm pretty woeful.
I didn't either a couple of years ago, but now I've gotten into all of it, and I've learned so much, and it's really exciting.
Question about that Vampire Killer. Are you going to open it or are you going to buy a different one? Have you decided?
I haven't decided yet. It's kind of expensive to get another one, but then again, it feels sad to have to open it. I usually don't buy factory sealed games because I don't want to have to bear with that issue of having to open them. I feel that somebody else might have, appreciated the factory sealing more than me.
Well,
and maybe I'm ruining it for them by opening it because there's one less copy in the world that is sealed.
Well, would you just consider selling that, like finding the other one and selling the sealed one? Because wouldn't that then you'd make a little money that way?
Maybe, but then again, I'm a hoarder. I have a really hard time letting stuff go.
So once it's in, it's
in.
Yeah.
I've only traded a few doubles, but then they have to be identical, basically, or one is greater than the other, and I can get rid of one of them. Yeah. But it was even hard letting go of that Rondo of Blood for the PC Engine. I had 2 of them.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I still need.
Yeah. It's a really good one.
Yeah, I have the download copy, so I've played through it, but I want the physical one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to call it. I know Kat is on a tight schedule. I want to thank you very much for hanging out with us and being on the show.
No problem.
We barely scratched the surface on like your collection and you.
Yeah.
So, would love to have you back on another time, but you've been great. And thank you very much for sharing with us today.
It was amazing to hear about everything because I've been following you since I first started on Instagram, and it's always been amazing seeing the vast amount of things you collect, and it's really neat to hear about it.
Yeah, it's basically everything.
Yeah, and your collection is so impressively displayed. As someone who takes the time to make sure my collection is displayed nicely, I really appreciate that about your collection.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun, and feel free to let me know if you want me on again.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's fun to have people to talk games with.
That's exactly why I started the podcast, because I wanted to talk to people.
Yeah.
That didn't come out right.
Well, I mean, like none of my friends are hardcore gamers, so it's, You're like, where do I go to get this out?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you tell us where we can find you on all of the various social media platforms, Haiti?
Well, my blog is retro-video-gaming.com. And on Instagram, I'm retro_gaming. On Twitter, I'm called retro_game_blog. And then I'm also on YouTube and a bunch of other stuff. But if you go to my blog and about me, there's links to all my social media accounts, basically.
Right, and don't forget Geeky Gals.
And Geeky Gals. You can find those on, just Geeky Gals on Instagram. No, it's just Geeky_Gals. Wait, I just got confused there now. I'm always logged in, since you can have several accounts on your thing now, you'd never have to sign in again.
Yeah, well,
it's actually Geeky_Gals. So, yeah. And the blog is, geekygals.net's the blog.
And Kat, what about you?
You can find me at Katslevania on Instagram, Katselvania.
And you can find me at Johnny_Iucci, that's JOHNNY_IUCCI. And you can check out the blog at GameOverJohnny.com, but it's sad. Go to Hades' blog instead. Much better. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, too.